All right. I need to make 2 loot filters, and you're going to make them with me, okay? So we have 2 things that we're about to do. We're going to level up a character using devotion, mana stacking, lightning, crit, hammer throw, smite build as a paladin. So we're going to level that up. But we also need another loot filter for tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be the beginning of the Blade Dancer weekend tournament. And I'm planning on playing like a Shadow Dagger, Umbral Blades focused build. So let's choose one of those. We'll make the loot filter, and then we'll also make the other one, okay? So first things first, when I make a loot filter, I've done some preparation work. So let's pull that up first. My loot filters in this very, very long list of loot filters all start with, what is it? Duplicate me level 1. So I've made a very generic loot filter. I made a very generic loot filter here, and I'm gonna walk you through this, and then we'll talk about like how you can take this, duplicate it, and make it into something else. So my generic loot filter thing, remember, anything at the bottom gets superseded by stuff on top. So read this light blue text here. Rules positioned higher in the list overrule things on the bottom. So if you have a rule on the very bottom that says hide everything, and then a rule above it that says like show stuff I want, it'll still work, right? So if you want to think about this like a firewall, if there's any security programmers out there like I used to do in corporate America, then you kind of know what I'm talking about. Whitelist, blacklist, stuff like that. So I have 2 rules at the bottom. Hide all normal magic, and then hide all rare. When I'm starting out at the very beginning of the game, I just kind of want to see everything for the first 1 or 2 levels, and then I'll turn this off, and then a couple levels after that, I'll turn this off. So those are my first 2 rules that I leave in my generic loot filter. And the rest of the stuff here, I've got some early coloring stuff. This is for anything that has more than 1 tier of movement speed. So this is just like any boots that have some movement speed on them, I would like to pick them up because I would like to move faster. And then early on in the game, anything that does like void damage, physical damage, or necrotic damage kills you. So immediately in the game, I want to start looking at anything that has void res on it, necrotic res on it, or physical res on it. So this is my other generic item here. And then as I level up, maybe I'll turn these off, or maybe I'll leave them turned on in case I don't have any movement speed boots yet. After that, I've got this, and this is all items with greater than 2 tiers of 2 of 16. Okay, so what does this mean? This is a lot of text, right? I come in here, I make a new rule, and I select anything that I could possibly want. Any affix that I'm potentially interested in. And then I say, you know what? I would like an item if it had 2 of these modifiers on it. So just show me that, right? And you might say like, oh, is that too strict? It's like, well, you can't just look at everything, right? If you're showing everything, you're wasting your time, because then you're just going to sit there reading all the items on the ground. So at some point, you got to draw a line in the sand that says, I want to be at least this strict. I want to see, you know, just this little subset of stuff. So I have a bunch of generic stuff in here. I have some vitality. Because this is my generic loot filter, I didn't select anything here. But like some kind of health, you know, any kind of elemental resistance, anything like this. Maybe a cleanse belt, because I always want a cleanse belt. Maybe some movement speed, cooldown recovery speed. This is something that I'm going to use for leveling. And while leveling, I don't care about crit avoid, so I'm not going to select that here. And just like, that's about it, right? Not too much. So anything that's like more than or equal to 2. You could set this to 1 as well. So that would be like tier 1 vitality, tier 1 movement speed, if you wanted to. I just have it set to 2 because if it's set to 1, like, do I really want to pick it up? Then I'm going to pick up everything. I already feel like this rule is a bit permissive, but you can toggle with this however you want. So beyond that, we have my my class specific stuff. So whatever class I'm playing, I'll leave unchecked. The classes that I'm not playing, check. Hide all of that stuff. And then we have hide all idols, and then show the ones that I want. So I like to have a generic show idols, and this is for all idols. Everything's checked here. And then I have at least 1 affix. So this is like something that I would use at the beginning of a race weekend. Maybe anything that has health or percent health, anything that has like fizz res or cold res, something that I can just slap in there and have a little bit of extra resistance while I'm doing some leveling. Anything with vitality as well, just like generic stuff, right? On top of that, I have like a 2 of 11 here, and this is any idol that has at least 2 of these things. So this would be like health and resistance, or health and percent health, vitality and void resistance, something like that. it has this nice little green highlighting to it. On top of that, I have a show all for set unique exalted, which is just like a catch-all in case I accidentally hit something later on. And then at the top, you have this blue recoloring. And this blue is like, this is stuff that I would like to shatter no matter what, right? So early on, if I'm doing a race, one of these weekend events, I know that no matter what, I'm going to want a cleanse belt. So just give me some special highlighting for a cleanse belt so I never miss it. Also, hybrid life is always something that I want more of. It's relatively uncommon. So as many hybrid life shards as I can get, I would like to pick those up. Maybe I'll shatter them. Maybe I'll use a rune of removal. Remember, rune of removal guarantees it, and a rune of shattering doesn't guarantee getting the shard out of it. We can talk about that more later if we need to. So that's my generic one. So I'm not going to touch this, but what we'll do is duplicate. Bam. Let's go edit, and we're going to call this a crit devotion smite hammered like that. Let's make it a little pretty color too. Just go. All right, so crit devotion smite hammered. What do we want for this? So we can probably turn these off because I'm going to be leveling this in a league where I already have a bunch of stuff. Let's go. Let's edit this. Make sure that Sentinel is the stuff that I'm showing and everything else is what I'm hiding because we're going to play a Paladin. And then how about here? Let's select every piece of text that I might want. So I'm going to be using a hammer throw. I don't care about the hammer throw damage, but maybe hammer throw speed. We'll see. We care about attunement because attunement's going to give us mana. Maybe we're interested in that. We could go spell damage, maybe cast speed. No, because we're going to proc it with a smite idol. Maybe spell crit chance, spell damage, maybe adaptive spell damage. I guess adaptive spell damage only rolls on swords, and we probably don't care about swords. And also we're going to be using the devotion amulet, so we probably don't need this. We're going to have a bunch of flat damage already. Then we'll go to throwing. How about some throwing reduced mana cost, maybe some -3 rings. I'd like to seal that if I could. I think that'd be a nice way of crafting a ring. Throwing attack speed, yes. And we're not actually scaling the damage of the hammer itself, so let's leave this part off. Then we can go to damage type. We know that we're going to be dealing lightning damage. Elemental damage technically applies, but it rolls lower than the specific types do. So I don't really want lightning damage. I'm going to try to make this like a high-end character. So I don't want to be satisfied by these lower rolls. Let's go lightning damage, maybe some lightning penetration. Maybe lightning penetration, we'll see. Shock does a pretty good impersonation of lightning pen anyways, and like lightning shred's pretty good, but I'll leave it in there, that's fine. So let's scroll down. Let's see, generic. We already have spell crit chance. And I guess if we already have spell crit chance, we don't care about generic crit chance. Because the more specific one, the spell crit chance, rolls higher. So I really don't want this, do I? Let's see. If I got this, I could get this on a glove implicit, or sorry, a glove prefix. If I had a glove prefix, would I be happy with that? Yeah, maybe it's fine. Let's put it in there. I might be using Ravenous Void later on, but maybe just for leveling, I'll put this crit chance in there. So crit chance, crit multi, definitely. Stun chance, no, get out of here. Let's see, health, everything there is good. We're going to be using a shield, but we're also going to be using a bastion, so I don't really care about any of these, not particularly. Resistances. I'm going to turn off all of these specific elemental resistances because I'm going to have Holy Aura, and Holy Aura gives me a ton of cold, fire, and lightning already. So I probably don't need like a specific one of those. I'll put Endurance in here though. And I think Endurance, maybe Armor. I'll leave Armor off. So maybe just like that. Cleanse Belt, yes. Everything else here, let's put Crit Avoid in there too, because we're going to have like a Winged Helmet and a Solarum chest piece at some point. That's one of the advantages of being Sentinels, that you have nice implicits for your body armor. So maybe we'll put this in there. I'll keep it in. I'll keep it in. Leech. We don't need this. Let's see, movement, cooldown, recovery speed. We don't need cooldown, but we might want mana. We might want mana regeneration as well. So let's do both of those things for our devotion build here. For ailments, I guess we could put frailty on hit, shred armor like that, because those could roll on like a amulet, glove, relic, right? I guess like some of those in some places. But like if I were only doing this for a weapon, I wouldn't care about this. I would just figure it out. All right, next up is here. And I think we want armor shred effect. So let's put that in. And then I think, isn't there like a mana prefix that you can get as well? increased mana for Sentinel. Let's see, mana gain, use this. No, mana gain this. No, mana gain this thing. Nope. So maybe just that mana rule. Is there anything else we might want? I'm not sure if we want plus levels to smite. We probably do, because plus levels to smite rolls on a relic. And I know that off the top of my head, so that's nice. And let's see, do we want hammer throw? Maybe. I'll put it in there anyways, just in case. It never hurts. Let's see, plus levels to this, plus levels to that. Is there any other skill that we might want? I don't have a planner for this, so I'm just kind of like thinking off the top of my head. Would I ever want plus levels to Holy Aura? Probably not. All right, so I think that's good. So I have 31 potential affixes and then 2 of 2. So it looks a little strange, but this is what I'm going to do, okay? What I've been doing ever since the crafting update is I wanted to like see different combinations of things. So you can try out your own kind of loot filters, but here's how I do mine. I say like, let's say there's at least 2 of these affixes, and those 2 affixes are like tier 4 or higher. Just like that. And then I'll copy it, and I'll do like, well, maybe like 3, maybe there's only 3 affixes, and each one of those is at least 3. I'll put that in there. And then maybe 4 affixes, but they're all kind of low rolled. So this has been like what I've been working with. I'd be open to suggestions, but I think this is working pretty well. Whoa, that's weird. This has been working pretty well for me. And I think I like how this works out. So like 4-3-2 and then 4-3-2 alternating the other way. All right, moving on. We still have this. We're showing Sentinel stuff. Let's see, this is good. This is good. This is good. I'm gonna copy the recolor rule here. This is my idol rule. 9 types of idols. And let's go in here. Maybe choose a different color. Maybe red is a cool color. And I want to see idols that have at least one of the most important text I could have, which is smite. So my build is only going to work if I have a whole bunch of smite idols. So I want to make sure that I have a specific rule that just highlights all smite idols for me. Is there anything else? I think that's about it. I guess I could add a rule on top that says like, you know, show all, or like show all and like maybe a highlight for anything that says +1 to level of smite or anything that says +1 to level of hammer throw, so that I could pick those up and then shatter them. So having a nice like shatter rule or like a shatter filter at the top of your stuff is a nice way to just like make sure that you have the shards that you need in preparation for a weekend tournament. Listen, a lot of my loot filters are just like specifically, this is my stuff for the weekend tournament. This is why I have 15,000 loot filters, and this is why I'm comfortable messing around with these. So I think that's what we'll do for the crit, devotion, smite, hammered in build. Let's move on to example number 2. Yep. I hope I don't forget the name of this. Edit. I'm not going to. I'm totally not going to forget the name of this. Don't worry. Confirm. So here's example number 2. Let's start again. So this is going to be a character that I play in the weekend tournament tomorrow. So let's duplicate this. Let's go edit. This is like, what are you going to call this? Race with Shadow Dagger Umbral Blades. That. Should we give it a color? Let's give it like this color, like that. It's got like an umbral. Umbral is like shadowy stuff, right? Let's go with that. All right, so what do we want? We still have the normal rules in the very bottom. It's like the tiers of movement speed, the early, void res, whatever, because I gave it some extra text. The text up here that I just like wrote that in there. Let's see. We want to make sure that we're not hiding rogue stuff. Super important. I'm going to come up to this idle rule first. And again, I don't have a planner for this. So I'm pretty sure that I know what I'm looking for, but I might have to edit this tomorrow as well. So let's make sure that I have at least one affix, because I know that all Shadow Dagger builds really want this thing, increased Shadow Dagger effect, which is a more multiplier to your Shadow Dagger damage. So I don't know what else I want, but like definitely this thing. Does Umbral... What is this? Increased damage with Umbral Blades per stack of... Maybe? Is that good? Increased damage with Umbral Blades? Does that... Does increased damage with Umbral Blades get inherited by Shadow Daggers? I feel like it doesn't. But listen. It's kind of cool, and I want some, so I'm going to put it in there anyways, even though I'm pretty sure that it doesn't apply to shadow daggers themselves. So let's add that rule in there. I need to come back here. Let's go select colors. Let's make it nice and red, make it pretty. And then at the very top, I said that, you know, if you were doing a weekend race, you might want to do a recolor and like show something that you want to shatter, right? It's like, I want to shatter anything that says like Umbral Blades on it. It's like plus level to Umbral Blades. Sounds perfect, right? Let's put that in there. How about, let's see, what else would go in this loot filter? Do we want throwing damage? No, plus level of that. Maybe like plus level of Shadow Cascade? Maybe plus level of Shadow Cascade would be something. Increased Shadow Dagger effect seems pretty good. So this is going to be my rule for like shattering stuff. So I'll put this up here. Next up, the thing that I made previously, where I just like put in every possible affix that I want, and then like do the 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2. I'm gonna start making that right now. So I'm gonna I'm gonna hide this right now because I don't want to see this early on. So I'm gonna have my 3 generic things first. Do I want the -3 mana cost of throwing? I think I do. You know what? Can I put this up here? I'm gonna go mana cost. Throwing -3 mana cost ballista prefix. I'm gonna put that in my blue loot filter because I know that no matter what, if I'm playing any kind of throwing skill, and Umbral Blades is a throwing skill, having that -3 mana cost makes leveling feel really good. So I think I'm gonna slide that into one of my shatter filters up here, just so that it stands out to me early in the game. All right, so we have this thing here. I'm going to start selecting everything that I could possibly want. So dexterity, vitality, both pretty good. Let's see, melee, spell, throwing attack speed is going to be important. Throwing reduced mana cost, yes. Throwing attack damage might be helpful. I guess throwing attack damage is fine. That's fine. Shadow daggers themselves deal physical damage. Let's grab some phys damage and physical penetration, like this. Let's grab... We don't really need much crit chance. So shadow daggers crit constantly. They crit by themselves, which is kind of absurd. So crit multi is perfect. We're going to have like crit vulnerability scaling. So like the more we hit enemies, the more we're going to apply crit vulnerability element. So crit chance, it's a nice thing to have. But if we end up with like kind of a low amount, it's probably still fine. So crit chance, crit multi, we'll put both of those in. Health, yes. I'm going to farm up a Bastion. I'm planning on using the strategy of getting extremely lucky, so I don't need to worry about any of this. Fine, I'll put some of these in here. It's okay. I'll put this in there. That's fine. Okay. Those are only... Yeah, whatever. Potion. All right, let's see. Resistance and armor. Everything here is what we want. We want some endurance as well. Let's see. Endurance, crit avoid, movement, cooldown, recovery speed. We don't need cooldown, recovery speed. Not for this build. This is our Umbral Blades, crit, blade dancer thing. We probably don't need mana regeneration because our skills have mana return built into them. But some kind of like armor shred on hit or frailty on hit, those things sound great. And then like these are like weapon suffixes. So I'll worry about chill and shock and slow later on. But I think at least having these, frailty and armor, because remember those can roll on, I guess, chance to shred armor on hit can be amulet and gloves, and then frailty on hit can be in all 3 places. I think frailty on hit is also on your amulet. In any case, I want these, so let's put them in. And then, because we're playing a rogue, let's pop this open. Let's see, damage used by skills, by here, no. Health gain and glancing blow, no. Dodge a hit recently, no. What kind of stuff are we looking for? Crit chance per stuff, gain dust shroud when hit. So if I were playing a melee build, this thing's a great one to call out. Chance to gain a dust shroud when you use a melee attack that hits. I think this is like so incredibly strong. Unfortunately, the build that I'm planning to play doesn't really apply to that. So maybe increased damage while wielding a dagger. That might be something that I'm interested in. Chance to shred armor on throwing hit seems okay. Armor shred effect seems okay. Shadow dagger effect seems awesome. And I'm just going to try to cast as wide a net as possible so that I can get some okay gear for the beginning of the weekend tournament. Because that's the purpose of this current loot filter. What else? Let's grab Probably not Sync Strike. Let's go Umbral Blades and what's the other thing called? Shadow Cascade. I think those are probably the only two that I'm interested in. Shift is kind of cool because I always feel like I have more points that I want to spend in Shift, but I think this is a good place to start. So let's do that. And then I'll go like 4-2. Then I'll copy this. I'll go 3-3, and then next up is 2-4. So just trying to cast a wide net. So that's like my generic loot filter up here, and I'll turn these rules on once I get to like level 40, 45, 50, something around there. These other rules, I'll leave these on right now. I'm going to leave it like that. And then is there anything else that we're looking for? I could add in one more rule, like a hide rule, because I know that when it comes to item types, I'm never going to use a catalyst. I'm never going to use a quiver. I'm never going to use any two-handed weapon because Umbral Blades has a note in it that says you need to use a dagger. And eventually, I guess we're only going to want to see daggers. So I could go like this and only show daggers here. And I'm going to have this rule turned off initially because I might want to like shatter some things that come up. So I'm going to take this hide all nonsense and I'm going to put it right here. And then as I'm clicking through these, I'll have to like have my attention called to this. So hopefully I remember that this is here. So the rule is turned off now, but in the future it'll help me when I'm like, trying to do the zoomy race. Sound good? That is a run through of making 2 loot filters. Listen, was it long? Maybe. But is this a good loot filter demonstration video that I can link to somebody in the future? Yes. So hopefully that helps. If it doesn't help, you can always drop by Twitch or Discord or something else. But this is a pretty good rundown of how I make my stuff.